for coming to my vision panel, Kawaii Kon 2022. Yay! More energy, guys. Come on, let's go! Yay! Thank you for joining me. I think it's been 5 years since I last came to Kawaii Kon. It was in 2017, I think. And I think we all really miss our conventions. Yes, a lot. So I'm really happy to be back here, and I'm so grateful that everyone's here to see me today. And I guess today will be a Q&A session, and you guys are welcome to come and ask me any questions you want.
What's sort of your passion in terms of like modeling or getting into cosplay?
So what was my what?
Like, what started your passion for?
What started my passion? Okay, I'm going to tell you my life story now. So when I'm born in Hong Kong, so when I first immigrated to Canada, I found out there was a holiday called Halloween. And because I grew up watching anime and playing video games, I thought it was normal to dress up as anime and video game characters. So, you know, in Halloween, people kind of dress up as like generic, like witches or like, you know, things like that. So I dressed up, starting with my first cosplay as video game character. My mom made me Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII. And since then, I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to make my own costume because I didn't want to bother my mom. So my mom and my grandma taught me how to sew. So I made my first costume as Yuna from Final Fantasy X, and actually bought her costume last time when I came to Kawaii Kon because I really wanted to shoot Yuna's like sending scene in like the sunset of Hawaii. So when I came last time, it was just so special to me. I was able to, 10 years after I made my costume, I was able to recreate the scene that I wanted from childhood that was impossible. So I think how I got inspired to keep doing it is I just found every time I made a costume, it was just so much joy and fun to like, you know, it's not just the end product. That's like the event of going to the conventions and taking photos. It's actually 90% of the time is the planning and the making and the preparation that got me super excited. And I think I got addicted to the process, and it came from like, I guess every Halloween to a costume. Then I found out there was a local convention, so I started making 2 costumes a year. Then I found out there's like conventions every weekend of the year at different cities. Then I started going to international conventions, and somehow I am here now. And it's just an addiction of over 10 years of cosplaying relentlessly every single year, and it just gets more and more. And now I do like 2 to 3 costumes a month from like 1 a year. So yeah, that's how it started.
So what is your favorite cosplay so far? You mentioned Yuna, is that it?
My favorite cosplay, or my favorite waifu, is actually 2B. So that's why you see me doing a lot of her costumes. I think she's just very intelligent, beautiful, and graceful, and just a lot of passion she doesn't know she has, right? Kind of relates to how I feel I am. So I think a lot of people looked up to her, how she acts, and I want to be like her, you know, be like very giving, and that's why I really like her.
What is your least favorite cosplay, like the most challenging one to make?
I think my most challenging cosplay was my battle armor sailor Chibi Moon. And it was the least favorite cosplay to wear. It was actually, because I'm a seamstress. I don't like making props. It's kind of like, I use this example in Canada, snowboarding versus skiing, but I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but it's similar, right? It's similar, but it's very different with sewing and crafting. And that was my first time crafting something, and it was such a huge learning curve. And wearing armor is so uncomfortable too. I'd rather wear fabric, even though some fabric costumes can be uncomfortable, but armor is just like, there's no give. So I just really didn't like the process at all, even though like the costume looked great, just not for me. So that's why I don't really make armor stuff.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah, of course.
You say you're from Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
Can you speak Chinese?
I can speak fluent Cantonese, yeah.
Can you say something in Cantonese?
大家好，我叫做菲菲 Vision， 我今日好開心喺夏威夷見到大家。Hello。 Yeah, no problem.
I know like you've been to a lot of different conventions all over the world. What would be like your best experience or like best convention overall, as well as is there a convention that you haven't been to yet that you're like wanting to go to?
I think it depends on what I'm looking for the convention. The couple of things I'm looking for, like, I think if I want to hang out with friends, my favorite one would be Anime Expo because everyone goes to it, right? But then it gets so tiring because it's like 4 days of hanging out, busy con days, but it's just really fun at the end of the day. You get to really have fun and eat with everyone. I think usually on day 4, on the last day, we booked an entire restaurant. I think one time we had like 200 people at the restaurant. Yeah, it was so much fun, but it's just so hard to arrange because it's big groups. My other convention that I really liked, that was a very, very different experience, was definitely Comiket in Japan, because it's completely different than, I guess, North American style kind of conventions. They have like, their booths are like what, the 4x4 tables, you get this little tiny square, and it's a 4-day convention, and they have so much vendors that every single day it's a different vendor. That's how much turnaround they have. So it was just very different. Seeing that the etiquette is different. People, when they come up to your booth, don't ask for photos, which is really strange because I'm so used to that here. And I'm so used to coming up and taking photo and, you know, and they're like, oh, they get really scared because they're like, oh no, you're next to me, right? It's just very different. But what we do is we go up to a different area and people actually are really nice and they line up for photos. And when it gets really big, I don't know if you've seen like the Inako circles in Japan, where they start crouching down into like the semicircle. And then you have, it's really organized chaos. They organize themselves where people would crouch on the first level, and then the second level, they would kind of be bending over, and the third level, they're standing. And what the locals do is you're supposed to look at the bottom row and pose for that guy, and the next guy, and then the top, and then the third row. So that's very different. But I think for seeing my fans, I gotta say Kawaii Kon's my favorite because everyone here is super, super friendly. People bring me food here and they come to say hi, they check on how I'm doing. So I'm really, really happy here. Everyone's like, I think I have more girls come up here in Kawaii Kon than in any other con combined. Cause I think just everyone's just so open. There's not afraid. There's no like, oh no, she's a girl. I can't go up to her. Only guys would see this kind of person. Like, you know, girls love cosplay too. I love looking at girls. Okay, it's my favorite thing to do. I mean, not to be like creepy or anything, but like girls are beautiful, right? So that's why I like to show off my feminine, like I guess, strength, and I want to empower women to show that their body is beautiful and it's okay to celebrate it, right? And I'm just really happy that there's a lot of women here that are open to that compared to other conventions. That's why I like it here too. Yeah. Sorry, long-winded answer, but yeah, thanks for asking. Hello.
I was kind of wondering what your kind of time schedule looks like as far as how much time you spend like making cosplays versus photography or content creation and cons versus like social media and marketing kind of looks like.
So I used to make everything from scratch. That was back when I was like super like still like schoolgirl and had a lot of time to do my homework and sewed instead. But then since conventions started to get really busy and I wanted like 2-3 costumes a month, you guys know how hard costumes can be. It became unmanageable, and I actually do like kind of like a bit of both. I make some costumes and I purchase some costumes now, so I can actually manage doing all the stuff I want to do. So when I make a costume, it depends on how complicated the costume is. I don't know if you guys saw some of like my photos I posted when I was in Hawaii this week. There's the one blue dress. I went to the China walls for taking like the fashion type of photo shoots. That dress took me 3 hours to make, including shopping for it. I went to the fabric store, I bought my fabric, and then I came home, so I took about like 2 hours to sew everything. So, but that dress was really easy to sew though. So like say my Ada Wong, like the red dress from Resident Evil, that took me about 4 hours to make. My longest costume to make, I think took about probably 60 hours was the armor costume, which I didn't like making because I had to figure out and try to learn how to make it. So I think it depends how complicated the costume is. And for your other question, so I probably spend 20% of the time thinking of what I want to do and how I can do it and if I can actually execute it. So a lot of time is actually spent on the planning process without doing anything. I just sit there and like think. And then I spend probably 20% of the time procuring the costume. And then when I do photo shoots, I'm actually really quick compared to a lot of other cosplayers. I usually only need 1 hour. And it's a quick turnaround time because time's very precious to me. It's like the only resource that you can't increase, right? We all have only 24 hours of the day. So I work with photographers that shoot really quick with my style. We get all of our photos done in 1 hour. And I do my selfies. And then at the same time when I'm shooting, because it takes time to put on the makeup and the costume and get to the location, arrange the photographer, I do everything all at once. The professional photos, the selfies, the Instagram stories, the TikToks and the YouTube videos all at once. But if I want to do like the full package, sometimes it takes like 1.5, 2 hours to do everything. But it just saves a lot of time instead of spending an hour to do your whole getup and then having to do just a few TikTok videos. I just rather just slot the 2 hours and film everything. And social media, I actually spend quite a lot of time on there. It used to be like 4 hours a day. It was just a lot. And that's including posting the content, editing all my photos, and answering emails, answering DMs. And I have my main Instagram, my IRL Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my TikTok, my OnlyFans, my YouTube. So it's a lot of work. But now I have a team that helps me because I know I can't do everything. I love taking the content, but editing takes a lot more time. So I actually hire out like a YouTube person to edit my YouTube videos because I used to edit all my videos myself. And now I'm trying to get someone to help me with editing my TikTok videos because I love taking TikTok videos, but I'm like, I can't keep up with posting like 2 or 3 videos a day. So I have so much backlog of content. I just don't have time to sit down to edit. So I think it's just the evolution of doing everything from scratch and having a team is very important. So it keeps you sane so that I can still go out and do the things I want to do, like, do my photo shoots, meet people, go to conventions. And as for conventions, before COVID, I did probably 1 or 2 conventions a month, which was a lot because I worked a full-time job back then too. Now, after COVID, I think things are just starting to ramp up again. I've been going to 1 a month. So we'll see how busy it gets because I know next month I have 3 conventions already. So we'll see. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering, since you're a celebrity, do your fans know what you look like without all the makeup? Do you get a lot of hassle or do you get noticed a lot in your private life?
So that's 2 questions. One is, do I go out without makeup? And one is, do people recognize me? So as much as this sounds like, oh, I'm super like celebrity, I show my face all over like social media, I'm actually quite insecure about my look. I think this comes with a lot of cosplayers. Once you start putting on a lot of makeup, there's a certain image that you want to portray, and then you're like, am I good enough? Do I look like what I'm supposed to look? What if someone sees me and they think I'm ugly? It's a lot of insecurities. So I used to not even leave the house without makeup at all, and it was really, really hard for me because then the more famous I got, the more ugly I felt because it felt like I needed to look better every time I left the house. And even when people came over, I had to have makeup on in the house, which is really hard. So then that was a really hard for my, I guess, mental health. And I started to look for ways to improve my natural beauty so that I don't have to always wear makeup all the time. So then I started to do things like Korean skincare regime so that I get rid of my acne scars and I go for facials. And I started getting like false eyelashes. Because I used to put like the eyelash glue on, but now I get like the extension so that when I wake up, I feel beautiful. Just like the way I am, I don't have to feel like I'm ugly, I have to put makeup on. So I'm getting more comfortable going out without makeup now, but I haven't gone to a con without makeup yet. So I'm still working on that. But I think it's kind of weird, right? You start out with no makeup, but when you put makeup on, you need more. And then when you get a lot of makeup, you want to like not put on a lot of makeup. It's like a girl thing. I don't know if some of the girls kind of agree with me, right? It's really tough, right? So I'm trying my best to honor my natural beauty now so that I feel beautiful no matter if I have makeup on or not. So, and then the second question is people, if they recognize me outside of my cosplay, I do get some people come up to me, it's like, are you Vivid Vision? I'm like, no. But if I have makeup on, I was like, yes. But I'm trying to get more comfortable with that. I think it helped a lot with face masks too, because then I don't have to wear makeup out as much. So then if I have my like eyelashes on, then I'm like, yes, I can go outside without having makeup on. And people still recognize me with my mask on. I don't know how. It's crazy, but I think, yeah, I do see some people. Like I think one time we were at Disneyland and a couple came up to me and said, "You're Vivid Vision." I'm like, hello. And they got a photo. And here I think a couple of people recognized me on the streets too without makeup.
And then food, so top 3 fake anime or cartoon foods that everyone just loves to eat.
Dude, there's no such thing as fake anime food I can find in real life. I think the one I really want to eat is probably from Studio Ghibli, in Laputa, where they were in the cave and they had that piece of toast with the egg. Like, who doesn't want to eat that? It looks super simple, but it looks crazy delicious. I want to eat that. I think it looks so good. And I think I want to also eat the rice box at Studio Ghibli in Totoro when she packs the lunchbox for school. I think Studio Ghibli really rocks the food, so that's why I really like it. And this I actually ate in real life, is in Shokugeki, the peanut butter squid. I ate that a couple months ago. I filmed a video for that, a YouTube video. And we had a guy that was grilling the squid, like it was a fresh live squid, and he gutted it and prepared it, and we threw peanut butter and maple syrup on it, and then we put some laogama on top too. It was actually really delicious. Yeah, so. But then I also want to add the 3 foods that I really like eating here locally is Loco Moco, Poke Bowls, and Spam Musubis, which I had all of those already because that's why I came here. I mean, I came for you guys. That's why I came.
So you said like Hawaiian food. Have you tried like the traditional Hawaiian food?
Can you
So like
list them?
so like there's like a lot of places. I think there's a Hawaiian food place in Ka'ako. So it's lala, kula pig, lomi salmon, squidua, kula pig, and chicken long rice, along with like poi and hopia poi.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like another trip next year to back here, right? I think I've had like the first time I came here, it was called the Polynesian Cultural Center.
In the
Yeah, and I think it's like a north side, right? So we went to visit that, and we had the luau, the pork that was in the ground. So I had that.
Well, that's kula pig right there.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
I want to try some of the other local foods too.
Yeah. There's like a few places across the island that sells really good food. And I believe the Whitmore side there's this place called like the Boy Company, and I heard like the wine food are really good.
Ooh.
I really good recommend that.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Always eat it with rice though.
I need my rice. Yeah, that's why I love you guys having rice here. Like, I'm just like, I need to have rice breakfast, lunch, and supper. It's my jam. Yeah, we actually, one of our local friends brought us to Foodlands because he says it has the best poke there. And we just like saw like all of the, I guess the compartments with like, I think 20 different styles. I'm like, whoa, this is legit. We also had poke off the hook. I think that's what it's called. That was really good there too. Where else did we eat this trip? We went to Millions for Korean barbecue. They just opened 2 weeks ago. So the food was good there. And we went to the Sky Bar, Waikiki Sky Bar, and they had really good truffle fried rice. We ate a lot here, and we went to Pipeline for like the fried donuts, cows for the rice. What's it called? Like the chewy rice drink. And I can't remember. Mitch's for sashimi. The toro was superb, so that was really good. And last night we went to Tanaka Ramen for ramen because we needed some comfort food.
Is that the one you like?
It's the one by the Moana Mall, I think. I think so, yeah. We walked around. Oh my god, we walked around for 40.
Outer side.
Yeah, on the outer side.
I can't use it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Oh my God.
It's really good, yeah. We had there, and oh, what's that place called? Marugame. We have to go there every time we come here. Fresh udon, so good. Yeah, I've been eating my way around town, so.
Since we're on the topic of food, if we were to visit Canada, what do you recommend eating up there?
Don't visit Canada. Just kidding. Canada, I guess the thing we're known for is poutine. Yeah, poutine. I don't know if you guys have had that. It's like fries with cheese curd and gravy. And they have different styles. You can do different toppings like bacon or lobster and things like that. And then the other thing we're known for is maple syrup, which is good for your pancakes, and smoked salmon. But I usually just eat Asian food because I need my rice. So yeah.
How do you maintain, I guess, your figure?
Can I tell you my secret? I eat a lot of rice, I don't exercise, and I sleep whenever I want. Legit serious. Yeah.
I still feel like you probably like do cardio, workout or something. Really?
I don't exercise.
Hey.
Yeah, it's genetics.
It's the Asian.
It's Asian genes. I don't eat breakfast because I sleep until like 11. And then I eat lunch, I eat an afternoon snack, I eat dinner at 7, and eat second dinner at midnight. Yeah, I'm crazy. But I'm trying to exercise because of old age now. I need to have my stamina. So I think I'm trying to like go for walks and stuff, but for like the past like 10 years, nothing. I just eat and eat a lot. As you can tell if you watch like my Instagram stories, I just eat a lot.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. But I'm actually a registered dietitian too, so like I'm licensed back home in Canada.
Really?
So don't take my recommendation because I eat whatever I want. But you know, it's all about variety and moderation, right? That's the healthy lifestyle, and eat just about like till like 75% full. Don't eat till you're full because I think it's too much. Yeah. Hello.
Have you watched My Dress Up, Darling?
I have.
Since you have, would you say you're more Gojo or more Marin in terms of like your passion for design costumes or actually doing the cosplay?
I'm kind of a bit of both because half the journey is making the costume and then half the journey is taking the photos and the makeup and the hair and everything, right? So I think a bit of both of it because I do both their jobs. It's nice if someone just makes a costume for you, so it's just easier, but then it's so fun to just figure out what you want to do and to create everything. So I think I'm both.
And then sort of a follow-up to that is like, if you watch and read the manga, can you say that what they describe in terms of like, the process of like actually doing the cosplay, making the cosplay, doing the shoots and stuff is accurate to your experience?
Well, Gojo is a lot more legit than I am. I actually learned how to sew like from my grandparents, and I don't even know how to like sew properly. If I were to sew something and sell it, it wouldn't sell because I don't know how to finish stuff. I don't have linings or anything underneath my costume, so I'm not a professional seamstress. I sew costumes to make it look good for photos. Sometimes I have to like duct tape stuff and just make it work because I just learn how to be creative to make things work. Because you know, costumes defy gravity in real life, and sometimes you can't actually make it work besides using hacks like safety pins and duct tape. So my skill level compared to Gojo is probably like I have 50% of his skills, but his stuff seems really legit. People like, if they actually sew everything correctly, that's the way to go. But I like to do a lot of costumes and have little time, so I like to cut corners. And for Marin with the makeup and everything, I know a lot of the Japanese cosplayers go full out. They do like, they actually shave off their eyebrows and everything like that. But I'm too scared to do that. So I don't shave off my eyebrows because you're supposed to like draw your eyebrows different shapes, like the angry or the, you know, sad and stuff like that. I just keep my regular eyebrows, and I'm not as talented with all the different styles of makeup as they are. So maybe 50% of how Maureen does her makeup and stuff. That makes sense.
I'm originally from upstate New York, and I know in the northern U.S. and Canada, winter sports are kind of big, like winter activities. Like any favorite? Do you like winter?
No.
Do you like doing winter activities? No.
I hate activity and I hate winter. I don't like the cold. Even in Hawaii, I felt cold. Yeah, I'm like a wuss. I love just like maybe 26 degrees without the sun. Yeah, so, but in the wintertime, when I do bundle out, I like going for walks because it's really pretty outside. And I did do snowboarding before, but I did sprain my ankle and it took me out for a few weeks, and it's just really tough with my schedule with traveling and everything. So I try not to do anything too strenuous that can cause injuries. I do like skating though. We went to Lake Louise in the mountains and we did skating on the lake. So that was really beautiful. And the funny thing is I can only skate backwards. I can't skate forward. It's really strange. So I gotta like, yeah, what else do I like doing? I've tried dog sled riding. That was fun. It's not really an activity where you're physical, but just going on a dog sleigh ride just around the mountainside is really scenic and beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Jordan.
Hello.
Sorry, I kind of did a deep. I met you the first time you came here. I think it was in
2017, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of since then I've been kind of following you on social medias, kind of like did deep dives into YouTube, all that stuff. And I just had a couple questions. I noticed that you're kind of a world traveler. I think the one video that I saw that was kind of interesting is I think you went to Dubai.
Yes.
So I was kind of curious about that trip.
Yeah, actually, my editor is a little behind with editing. I have a couple of vlogs coming for my Dubai trip. So it was actually because I actually worked in healthcare for 10 years as a manager, managing 7 hospitals in my city while doing cosplay full time. And over COVID, I did a lot of thinking. I'm like, you know what? As bad as it sounds, like it's, you know, as a manager for a hospital, I wanted to give and help the community, but it wasn't my way to help. My way to help people is to show my creative passion, right? And I think it's just to be able to inspire people to pursue what you love. Because you can make money doing anything in life, anything. So I wanted to actually pursue life and with my cosplay and my creativity. So I quit my job and the next day flew out to Dubai to celebrate. And I was there for 2 weeks and I had absolutely no budget on that trip. I'm like, I don't care how much money I spend. I practically cleared my bank account because it's expensive in Dubai. And I'm just like, I went on this trip to do a new game plus. Think of it this way. You finish your game, like I finished the arc of working as a manager in the 9-to-5 job. I spent all my money, but I lost all my equipment, but I kept my stats and my experience and I start the game all over again, and that's what I'm doing now.
Plus.
New game plus with cosplay. So this is what I'm doing now. But on the trip, we did a lot of interesting things. We went to the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. We had brunch there. The brunch was okay. It was more paying for the view, right? But it's like super expensive to get up there. We went to the safari. It was my favorite moment there. It was a conservation safari. They try to conserve the sand dunes because a lot of tour companies, they go and they wreck like the sand dunes, right? And it kind of hurts the wildlife there. So we went to one which is like with the government, the preservation, and we toured through there and we took some time during sunset to just walk along the desert, and that was so beautiful. Everywhere you looked was just desert and the sand. I hate sand, okay? It's strange. I actually took my shoes off and walked into the sand, and the sand was so hot, but it was just nice and warm enough, and it was so clean and dry. I just don't like the mushy feeling of the sand, right? But it was just dry, and it was just very comforting. And we saw the sunset, the wind was blowing, and it was just so warm. I was like, this is why I quit my job, so that I can go and do things and experience beautiful things in life. And another thing we did was we stayed at the Burj Al Arab, which is the only 7-star hotel in the world. And
7 stars?
Only, yeah, I know, there's 7 stars. This is ridiculous. You know, everything is gold plated. I think 5 years ago when the building was built, they spent about, $10 million building this hotel. And everything is gold plated, including like the ceilings, the railings, even the toilet flusher was gold plated. And the coffee machine was gold plated. My hair dryer was gold plated. I'm like, who does that? Who stays at this place? I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I need to experience life. I need to try this at least once. We went during low season, and the entry level room, which was 2 floors, I think it was 1,500 square feet. It was $1,800 USD to stay there for one night, which I got for free. Anyways, yeah, I used my points to get for free because I wouldn't be able, it would hurt so much to go and stay there. So we stayed there and we just spent the whole day in the hotel because I'm like, I want to milk this. And they had the most beautiful infinity pool that overlooked the ocean. And I posted some TikTok videos of that. So I still have to get my editor to finish the YouTube video. But yeah, it was quite the experience to go from walking in the souks, like the markets, the gold markets and everything, and the spice markets to this super grandeur luxury hotel. And it was funny because we hired a tour guide to take us to the market so we knew where to go, and it's just safe with the local, right? And he was joking how oh yeah, the most expensive hotel, none of us, we wouldn't be able to sleep at night if we go there, we stayed there for a night. And at the end of the night, we called a taxi and he asked, where are you staying? We're like, the Burr. She's like, I'm like, yeah. He was so shocked. But we went to the gold market. It was there were chain nails in gold, which is crazy. We saw on the windowsills, there was gold plated chain nails. I think it's when people get married there, the brides, instead of wearing sexy bridal lingerie, they wear gold chains. I don't know, because they said it's for wedding, right? And they're super expensive, but Dubai has one of the cheapest gold in the world. And they actually have a scale there, and you throw the gold on and they weigh the scale and then they mark it up, and locals know you slash the price in half because you go on the market, you Google how much the gold costs that day because the price of the gold fluctuates, right? So you kind of gauge the gold price. So I'm actually proud of myself because I started haggling. So these gold diamond earrings I got there, 22 karat gold, and I paid I think $3,000 for them, which was market price with the diamonds. But I haggled it down so that I only paid $80 for the craftsmanship. So I did really good. So gold always retains its value, right? So I'm like, okay, I just bought so much gold because I'm spending all my money, New Game Plus, let's go. I just splurge and try all different experiences. And also we went to see the Salt Bay guy. I don't know if you guys know. That was the freaking most expensive dinner I've ever had in my life. The one piece of steak, I think it was 20 some ounce. It was plated with gold flakes on the top. Who eats that? And guess how much the steak was? It was $1,500 USD, and we ordered 2. Yeah, but there was 8 of us, right? And I'm like, oh my god, because we went with some business friends and they were very well off, and they were seeing other business friends who were even more well off. I'm like, okay. And they're ordering these food there's no problem. Oh my god, what's the bill? What's the damage? And each of us, it cost $500 that night for dinner. A drink, an old fashioned, was $40. And I was like, oh, my heart. It's okay, New Game Plus, it's okay. I'm supposed to do this. And now, because I have no money, nothing left, when you have nothing left and you start from scratch, you become very, very creative. How you want to do things, and you ask yourself what matters to you in life, because there's so many different ways to make money. I can definitely go back to my job, right? But that's not what I want. I'm a different person now. I want to make money how I want to make it. I want to live life how I want to live. So now I'm just pursuing things I want to do. Sorry, that's a really long kind of story, but that's what happened and why I went to the Dubai trip. So sorry about that, yeah. But that's my crazy Dubai trip, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to my crazy story and my crazy trip where I spent all my money. Thank you. Hi.
Do you try to make cosplay legit as possible to wherever it came from, or did you plan around the seasons?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Do you try to make the cosplay as legit as possible to its source, or do you plan around the seasons, make it the lighter weight that it needs to be, or heavier weight for winter?
I think it depends where I travel to. So say for Hawaii, for Kawaii Kon, I try to pick seasonal stuff here so I don't die in big armors or big costumes. So when I go to colder places, I wear things that are a little bit warmer too. And sometimes with the seasons, like if I were to go to Japan again, and if I were to go in April, I would definitely plan like kimonos and stuff like that for the sakura season, take photos there. That's what I would do. And about the accuracy of the costumes, I like to do a bit of both. So if it's a character that I really want to replicate exactly, I would find everything exact to the T. I don't know if you've seen my Demon Slayer music video that I recreated based on the movie. And I did the...
Your social medias, do you monetize them?
My social medias, I monetize like my Patreon and OnlyFans. So if you're talking about like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube has like AdSense, but it's not, it's like pennies, right? So sometimes companies hire me to do commercials for them. Like they would do a plugin, it's like, oh, this product at the beginning of it, or they would actually hire me for the full video to promote their product. But the types of monetization I do with sponsorships is with like video game companies. They would ask me to make a specific costume, and depending on the package, it could just be the photos for Instagram. It could be Instagram stories, me wearing the costume. It could be on Twitch, me playing the game. It could also be a YouTube video of me sewing the costume. So like a full package deal I usually do would be Instagram post with a picture of the costume, Instagram story, a TikTok, YouTube video, and sometimes live streaming. So it depends on what the budget is for the company and what their end goal is. And I guess I do a bit of both. Like I do monetization with real life events too, like say Kawaii Kon, selling my prints. And for some conventions, they pay me a certain like price to attend their con. So there's different ways to monetize. So I'm trying to be creative to find different outlets, but it's tough for a professional cosplayer because I do a bit of like more sexy content, right? So I'm sometimes too sexy for the big anime and video game brands, but I'm not sexy enough to make bank on OnlyFans, because I don't know if you guys sign up for my OnlyFans or Patreon. What you see here, what I wear to conventions is exactly what you see on there. I don't do like nudity or anything like that because my family, my grandparents see all my social media, so I want them to see exactly what I want them to see, which is this. So yeah, but I mean, I totally respect the girls that are comfortable with doing it, but that's just not my jam. So trying to find different ways to do it. So I'm trying to explore with travel stuff and food stuff, because those are my passions too. And recently I just opened up like a brick and mortar, I don't know if you guys are following, I opened up a photo studio in my city because there isn't any cosplay studios in my city, and I love cosplay and it's a different type of creative outlet for me to create beautiful things. I made a wisteria tree in my studio and like a beautiful like boho type of set and a rose garden, and I'm working on a Japanese set in there too. So because I'm creating these sets already to take photos, right? I might as well create something that I can share with the community, and I'm trying to really help my community locally because there's a lot of cosplayers there that don't know how to cosplay, and I took over like a decade to figure out how to do this, and no one helped me, and not a lot of people will continue to cosplay. Not just cosplayers, like any other artists, like musicians or dancers and things like that. They usually give up within a few years because they can't support themselves. And I'm crazy. I worked a full-time job for 10 years to support my hobby. And I'm finally doing this full-time since September last year. So it's really tough. So that's why I want to give back to the community and create a place where they can also have space to take cosplay photos. And I'm going to be hosting workshops there soon too, and classes on like makeup 101, cosplay, how to take selfies, how to style your wigs and things like that, and just bring the community together.
So I was wondering if there were any cosplays that you were thinking of that like either like future ones you want to do, or maybe some that you're like you would love to do but you don't think you could actually like pull them off or actually do them. I know it's like it's kind of nice to do some cosplays sometimes where it's like, oh, I'm not the perfect fit for this, but I'm gonna make my own. But I was wondering if you had anything.
Well, sometimes I like cosplaying as lollies, but I try to stay true to the character. And it's really tough, and I have to Photoshop my boobs flat, if that makes sense. But any character I want to do, I just go for it. Like I even like cross-dress as guys, right? Like I love my Yuri on Ice and my bass and stuff like that. So I would wear boot binders and cosplay as them, which is really tough though. It's hard to go to conventions as a guy because the boot binder is quite uncomfortable. So I don't think there's anything I want to cosplay that I hold myself back from cosplaying because I just do what I want to do.
So I was wondering, what's your, I guess, favorite part about cosplay? Is it making the costume or like seeing the fans?
My favorite part of the costume is at the end of the day, I gotta take my freaking wig off. Like cosplayers agree, right? But it's just that, I guess, satisfaction that I made this happen. I made a decision that I'm gonna do this. I planned it, I executed it, and I saw it through. And I got to share my experience either on social media if I'm just doing a photo shoot or at a convention with fans. At the end of the day, I reflect on it and I'm like, you know what? I chose this life. I made this decision and I'm very proud of what I did. So that's what I feel best about. At the end of the day, when I finished everything and I saw everything through. Yay! Wow!